Hello, hello, my friends, and thank you for joining me for the first of 2 new release preview videos. I'm super excited. Today I have for you the updated reading journal, the updated travel planner, and the updated, actually brand new weekly variety insert. I'm so excited about these 3. I will also be sharing tomorrow the shopping planner, the new budget, and the new Afterpay insert. So stay tuned for those coming tomorrow. But for today, let's talk about some of these updated designs. I am taking a new year, new planner kind of mantra this year. And basically what I've done is I found some of my old favorites, some of my most popular inserts. I've gone through them. I've asked for customer feedback. I'm taking some of my own user feedback and just tweaking them for an updated look in 2020, as well as integrating some new ideas into these planners to make them a little bit more functional for you. So today I have for you, like I said, the reading, the travel, and the weekly planner. Let's jump right into it. Let's start with the reading journal. I am so excited about this insert. I used to call it the literary logbook. It's now the reading journal. I think it's a little bit more inclusive what this insert actually is. So let's just start right through the first page here. If you're familiar with bullet journal spreads, this is one of the ones that's really common in the bullet journal community for tracking what books you've read. So I've given you a little bit of a template that you can kind of just fill in the names of the books that you are reading. You can color them in if you want to as well. I did update the graphics quite a bit. There's some fun little icon action going through stars and crowns and hearts and moons. It's a real conglomerate there. And then instead of in the old planner, we had this kind of easel set up with quotes. Oh my gosh, can I open this? Yes. Okay, so this was the old design. You can see it's still fun and functional, and I had these quotes on easels. I thought this might be better to step into 2020 with letterboards, because that is the hot thing, right, for 2020. So this letterboard says the world belongs to those that read, and then the one on the bottom page says just one more chapter. And how many of you guys can relate to that? I know it's so relatable. So there is your opening spread of the reading journal. Then we get into the library log pages. So if you are a fan of going to the library, this section is for you. The quote here says, "I imagine paradise will be a kind of library." And what you will notice about all the artwork in here is it's really cool. It's all like one continuous line making these little characters. And I tried to go with ambiguous characters. You can make a male, female, whatever you want them to be. Color them in, don't color them in. It's totally up to you. But there is a bunch of these spaced throughout the planner. So in the the library log section, you have a space to jot down what the title of the book you are taking out is, the author, the date out, the return date. If you actually returned it, you can check it off. And then you can also check off if it is a book, an ebook, or an audio. I added that based on customer feedback. I had a lot of people saying that they read multiple different kinds of books, and it would be nice to track what kind each one was. So I've added that both to the library and the reading log sections. So you get 4 pages of library logging for all your library needs. Okay, and then we have more of that really fun line art, this time with 2 characters with their stacks of books. And then we get into the reading log pages. So this time the quote says, "Reading gives us someplace to go and we have to stay where we are." And I love that quote so much. And I thought this art was so fitting. I'm so lucky to have found this artwork. When I found it, I was like, oh, that's it. So I'm really excited about how it looks in relation to the doodle design of these new pages. So again, you get the title, the author, and the start and the finish date. Again, space to mark whether it's a book, an ebook, or an audio. Plenty of space to jot that down. So you get this spread here, which is a page and a half of tracking, as well as 2 additional full pages on the back for all the things you want to keep track of that you've read. After that, I get into the audiobook section. So if you are an avid audio listener, this is going to be a great page for you to, not only you can track like once you've downloaded something, but then also once you've actually decided to dive into it. So if you're just downloading them, you might want to add the title and author, and then don't add the start and finish date until you've actually started it. So it's a great way to keep track of what you've listened to and how far you've gotten into it. There's also, by popular request, a section for unfinished books. These are the books that you started to read and you just never finished, okay? You can write down the title, the author, and then the reason you didn't finish it. And then at the bottom, there is a little inspirational quote here that says, feel what you need to feel, and then just let it go. Because honestly, there's so much preaching about, quitters never win, or quitters, whatever it is about not quitting. But guys, sometimes you just need to let it go. Quit and let it go. So I love this quote for when you are ready to give up on a book. And then we get into the review section of this planner. So in the review section, there is a place for you to write the title, the author, the genre, how many pages, the start and finish, the type. You can also rate it. There's also ample room for jotting down notes and thoughts about the book, as well as a space for your favorite quotes. And you will see that I give you 24 of these pages, and that was very intentional because I'm thinking that most of us can commit to reading 2 books per month, and since there are 12 months in a year, you get 24 books total. And then what's really cool is if you do complete that challenge, if you make that your challenge for 2020, there is this really cool spread at the very end. And what you can do here is you can write in the name, the author, what your rating was, and what page the review is on. So there's 24 of these pages as well, and you get that kind of Bujo feel again with this insert. I want it to feel like a bullet journal without you having to do the effort of drawing in all the things to make it a Bujo. So there you have it. That is the new and improved literary log. It's now called the Reading Journal, and this will be added to the site on the 1st of 2020. So in 2 days. Okay, that's the Reading Journal, replacing the literary logbook. Put it to the side. All right, next up, let's talk travel journal. Okay, here's the old, in with the new. New year, new planner, new travel journal. This one was updated mostly with my own personal feedback. I've used this for quite a few trips now, so I did have some overall feedback of things that I thought would make it better, both in terms of pre-planning and while you're actually on the vacation. So let me just go through all of this with you real quickly. So here's the travel journal. I love this cover. I did have people voting on covers in my Facebook group, and actually everyone voted for the other cover, but I think this one fits more with the vibe on the inside. So in the effort to keep the outside feeling like the inside, I opted for the cover that was not selected. Sue me, guys. It's my planner. I'll make whatever cover I want. Just kidding. I love your opinions. Feel free to always share them. So anyways, you open it up. Okay, here's your cover. You open it up. There is a section that says, if found, please return to. Put your name and your phone number here. Just in case you leave it at the Louvre, hopefully someone picks it up and gives you a call and is like, hey, this travel planner is really cute. Where'd you get it? Also, come meet me here and you can have it back. Or I'll leave it at the Louvre for you to pick up. Anyways, that's the opening page. On the flip side, you get a place to write down the destination that you're going to. And if it were me, I would probably not only write the place, but also the year underneath. That way, as you're flipping back on these 20 years from now, it'll be hard to remember what dates you actually traveled, so add that in there. Okay, now here is your itinerary page, and I do want to show you kind of the before and after of the itinerary page, because I have made some huge upgrades to this spread. So the old one, basically all you had space to write down was your incoming and outgoing flights, as well as your hotel details. That just ain't enough for most of us traveling. So now there is space to just do flight details, incoming, outgoing, however you want to flip it there. You can just jot it down. It's a little bit more streamlined in this section. Then there's a place for hotel details. It's really important to have the address of your hotel. If you are planning to take a taxi from the airport to the hotel, you want to have the address. So I made sure to include that. Confirmation number, phone number, dates of stay, and any notes. So if there's anything there isn't a prompt for that you'd like to jot down in here, you can keep it there. And then on the flip side, these are 2 totally new sections. So one thing that I've always been missing is an airport transportation section. So if you rent a company or you use a service to drive you to and from the airport when you go traveling, you can jot that down here. We have a company local to us called Worcester Airport Limo, and I always use them. They don't actually drive you in a limo, but it sounds nice, right? So a place to write down the company, the phone number, the departure pickup time, the return pickup time, confirmation number, again, super important, and then any notes. So I would probably jot down the pricing just because I like to keep track of that sort of thing. And then below that, if you're using a car on your vacation, it's good to have all the car rental information. So again, very similar to the other sections, but I've added a place for the duration of stay, pickup day and time, drop off day and time, and again, any notes, which right here is where I would put how much it costs. And then at the bottom, there is just a little bit of journaling space. So if there's anything that I didn't cover in these sections, you could add it here. I just wanted to leave a little open-ended space just in case your trip is a little bit more customized than what I've provided. You will have space to mark that there. And then the artwork is just super cute. So there is that. Your next page, the old planner didn't actually have any planning pages. It was all about documenting while you were on vacation. So this time I wanted it to be a little bit heavier on the planning side of things, and there's still plenty of space for journaling and memory keeping while you're on vacation, but I've just reallocated some of the pages. So here is your countdown to travel. So you get from 7 weeks out, you can kind of mark as you go the countdown before your vacation. Who doesn't love a good countdown spread? And you can color these in if you want to, or just leave them monochrome. And then on the flip side here, it's your pre-travel checklist. So you have space for marking down to-dos on the month before, to-dos for your week of travel, things you don't want to forget, like putting your mail on hold, that's a big one, and things that you want to buy before your trip. So a little bit of prep work you can do in this section here. On the next page, this is another section that I really felt was missing from my last planner. This is kind of planning your actual trip before you go. So there's a space for things to do, food to eat, and stuff to buy. Okay, so you get the full page for things to do, because obviously this is where you're going to have the most information, and then half sections for the food and the stuff. And then at the bottom, it just says adventure awaits. And this is something that I've been doing when I travel. I just didn't have it in the old travel planner, so I had to do it on like extra Bujo pages, and this just incorporates it all into one. So I think it's a little bit more all-inclusive this way. After that, we have the outfit planning pages. Super important when you travel. If you are trying to minimize on how much luggage you bring, you have got to plan your outfits accordingly. So there are space for 8 days of travel, and you can write in what the date is, what activity you're planning for the day, what weather is expected, and what outfit you're planning to wear. I would also, for myself, what I'm probably going to do is put a piece of washi here and separate it morning and night. I had another customer who, when she saw this, she said, oh, that'd be great for planning my kids' outfits. Again, separate it by how many kids you have. It's a real wide space, so you do have room to break this up if you want to, and then you can plan each kid out. So I thought that was a really clever idea of how to use this spread as well. So that is the outfit planning pages. And then we get into the packing list. So the old planner had a pre-filled packing list for you. And this is great. It's very easy. It makes things super quick. However, not everyone needs passports or visas. Not everyone is going to bring copies of their, their travel docs and their insurance info. It's just, this is too hyper specific for one type of travel, and I wanted it to be more open-ended for any line of travel. So there's now 6 sections for you to fill in on the packing list. It is the travel essentials, technology, clothes and accessories, toiletries, planner supplies, hello, and odds and ends. So 6 sections, clothes and accessories and toiletries being the longest of the 2. Of course, if these headers don't work for you, just slap a sticker on top of it and make your own header. Super easy to customize this section to be whatever you need. Make it functional for you. After that, we get into the actual memory keeping spreads, and let me just show you an old one versus the new. The old one had a dot grid. It had just day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 10, and then a currently section. New one, I've opted for a graph page because I don't know about you, but I love graph way more than I love dot grid. And then rather than putting day 1, day 2, day 3, I just put the date. So you can put in what date it is if you want to put Monday, or you could put Monday 1/1, or whatever it is. And then there's space for weather tracking, because this is something I found myself always doing anyways. And now there's just a quick way to kind of circle the weather, add in the temperature, and you're done. And then plenty of space for journaling. At the bottom, I have updated these prompts to be a little bit more mindful and kind of centered around gratitude. I think when you travel, it's really easy to kind of feel kind of lackluster about going home. So rather than feeling lackluster, every day you can write down what you're feeling inspired by, what you're listening to, what you're loving, and then what you're missing, okay? So for me, it's usually my bed or my pillow or the coffee I drink. By thinking about one thing that you are missing from home, when you do actually go home, you're going to feel a lot more grateful for being home. And it's just a little mindfulness practice there. So you get 10 of these pages still, so you didn't lose any memory keeping pages. Okay, same number. They're just laid out a little bit differently. And then in the very end here, I do have some gratitude and mindfulness prompts. Okay, these are just journaling prompts for after your trip or even during it. You can write these down. Different things that you want to remember forever. Things you're thankful for. The best thing you ate, your favorite drink, things you learned. On the flip side, we have new people to follow. I love following new businesses that I go to when I'm on vacation, so I would add that here. Favorite place, my new obsession, I'll never forget. So tell a good story there. And then on the flip page, we have a couple more prompts. Favorite moment, the weather was, the locals were. Remember this next time. Super important. Listen, if you're not into journaling, still fill out this section. This is so important. I always love writing down things to remember for next time. Souvenirs to take home. Track anything that you buy. The best day was, and I wish I had. And then just a nice little moments I'll never forget doodle there. And then the last spread here, I did tweak this from the old one quite a bit. I before had a section for postcards to send and souvenirs to buy, but since I've incorporated the souvenirs to buy on the journaling page, I have reworked this so we have postcards to send, because if you send postcards on vacation, trust me, you will appreciate this page. Fill it out before you go so you have their names and addresses and you don't have to call them while you're on vacation. And then I have a space for travel expenses. This is replacing the souvenirs to buy page. I think it's really great. Sometimes when you travel, you don't want to keep track of expenses, but sometimes you do need to keep track of that bottom line. And this is a great way to do it. For me as a business, when I travel for business, it's also good to mark down my expenses so I know what receipts I need to turn into my tax person. So this is like a great section for that as well. So that is the last page. That is the new travel planner. I think it is really just going to be super functional for anyone that is traveling anywhere. So out with the old, in with the new. Okay. And one last new insert for the shop. This is the weekly variety. It is a medley insert. It is the best of the best of the best. Take a peek. Ready? Every single page is different so that you can try out all the things. Yeah, okay. It is a weekly variety insert. This was requested by one of my friends, Margie. She said, I just love that in your ring planner, you are able to swap in and out inserts, which is great. If you use rings, I definitely recommend trying to swap things in and out. But if you use a bound book, you are beholden to the book. So she wanted an option where every single week was different, and I have achieved that. So here we have a doodle vertical, followed by a basic horizontal, followed by a script vertical with graph columns, followed by a doodle horizontal with dot grid columns. Note that every page is very different from the last. A basic lined option. We have a horizontal doodle graph option, a script blank column full column option, a botanical option. I did manage to squeeze in a couple botanical options into this insert as well, which is great if you wanted to try the botanical but weren't all in for a full month of botanical. This is a great option for that. Followed by a vertical box layout. This is really good if you like those EC stickers. We have a doodle graph horizontal, a script vertical, a botanical horizontal. Are you seeing the theme here? A vertical doodle with graph, a horizontal script with graph, a vertical script with no lines, but the box column, so you can do those EC stickers again, followed by a weekly overview, which this is open-ended space, make the best use of it. There's another vertical botanical page, and a vertical doodle, and a horizontal graph. So literally not a single week is repeated. Everything is different. It's the perfect insert if you can't pick one layout and you want to try lots of things. It's also a great one if you're not sure what your insert style is, if you're not sure what's going to work best for you. This is a great way to try out all the layouts before you commit to one. You know, so it's like if you use this and you decide that actually this is the most functional layout for you, well, great. Then you can go back to the shop and order a full year of this dated, you know, but it's hard to commit to a full year of something if you don't know if it's going to work. So this is a great way to test out some layouts. So that is the weekly variety insert. Now, I do also want to show you on my computer. Let's see if I can, please ignore my carpet. Hi guys. Okay, oh my gosh, my screen's so dirty. I did want to show you what the medley insert will look like for the smaller sizes, because I am going to offer this in multiple sizes. But basically anywhere that you saw 3 columns across, it is now going to be a 2 column across stacked layout. So let me show you just kind of side by side what it looks like in, for example, in this would be the B6 version of that layout. Here's an A6 version of that layout. So see how we're just going from 3 columns across to 2 columns stacked. And the only way that's really different is on the vertical pages. Those are the ones where you're going to see it switch to the stacked variety. So they're stacked, stacked, stacked. There is a little bit more repetition in the A6 size because I have less variety in these sizes, but it's still a really great variety insert where you do get a lot of variety from week to week, just so you can see it all there. And this one, I don't even have this available in A6 size, but I did retweak just this layout for this medley insert, so you get the benefit of that. All right, so there it is. Let's go back over here, back into the box. Okay, I hope you love these inserts, guys. I worked really hard on making sure that they were intentional changes. I'm not just changing things for the sake of it. I'm not just creating new products so that you feel like you have to buy something new. No. Instead, I was really intentional with all these choices. They are all made because I think it made the insert more functional. And if you loved the old ones, fear not. I'm not ditching them from the site just yet. They will remain on the site for a little bit longer, but if it looks like nobody's buying them anymore, I will get rid of them eventually. So if you do still like the old stuff, you will be able to grab that. But for right now, I will have both up on the site. And then we'll see how that goes in the new year. But those are the 3 I am showing today: the weekly variety, the new reading journal, and the new travel journal. Tomorrow, I will have for you the shopping planner, the financial planner, and the Afterpay insert. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. All of these will be hitting the shop just in time to say, new year, new planner. So that is on the 1st. January 1st, 2020, these will all be in the shop. So I hope you love them. I hope you love these changes. If you have any requests, comments, or questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them as I see them. Stay light, stay bright, my friends.